Hi everybody, welcome back to Charlotte Family Firewood. Quick thing we're going to do in this video is I just got done splitting a pile of wood up here by the shed, and as long as I'm up here, I'm going to do an oil change on the splitter. I bought this splitter in November of 23. It just so happens that this is
and the black one got so
October of, well, not quite October, but just about October of 25. So just about 2 years of ownership on the splitter. And I just think I just put 100 hours on it. So I bought it with about just under 100 hours on it, and it's just under 200 hours now, according to the hour gauge. So maybe we'll get this oil change done, and then we may do some 12-way splitting with it, and then we'll talk about what I think of it. Do a 100-hour review. Okay, so we got the oil change done. We got it full of fuel, and we found our 12-way wedge and got that mounted up on there. And this pile of wood came from Bob. He dropped it off one day, and I have not ever really had much for 12-way wood, so we're gonna give this a try through the 12-way. There's a couple pieces we might not, but this is fairly straight grain stuff, and we're gonna try it out through this 12-way. We got the 12-way on the Pro 28C by Wolfe, and we're gonna see how this thing handles some of these rounds. Just for this one, we're going to just let them go on the ground. We'll stack them up in totes later, but I think this is going to be for my personal wood stove use. I think is going to be the plan here, but we'll see how it turns out. So we got about half the pile gone already. A 12-way makes wood in a hurry. It's not exactly uniform size, but it works pretty good. We're gonna keep her moving. All right, guys, so that was less than 30 minutes. Total time with moving the camera and stuff. That's that's a good chunk of wood there. We'll stack that up here in some baskets here shortly, and we'll see how much it truly is. There was a few rounds that at the beginning I didn't think I was going to put through there, but once I saw what it was doing, I threw them through there anyway. So this is the only round that I didn't put through. Mainly it's long, but it's also got a big crotch in it, and I didn't want to push my luck. There was a couple times where I had to run it back and forth a few times to get through some of what was in there, but you can see, I mean, look at the stuff it cut through. So, yeah, rather impressed. Now look at that mess. 28 tons through a 12-way, and all those rounds went through it. Pretty impressed. All right, we'll be back when we get her stacked up. All right, we got our baskets and our pile of wood. We're gonna try this. All right, guys. Well, that was actually impressive. That took 29 minutes to split, and we have exactly a half a cord. So, in conclusion, you can get a cord an hour out of a 28 Pro C. I have never gotten close to that before, I don't think. But with the 12-way wedge and the right wood, you can get exactly a cord an hour. I'm sure maybe if I had help, maybe I could do a cord an hour more, but seeing as how I'm usually out here, and I'm always out here splitting by myself or watching kids and splitting, I don't get time to do a whole lot of fast splitting. So that was really nice. That wood added up really fast, and you know, we got a 330 full, which is a third of a cord, and then we got a half of one, so that is a half a cord. The 12-way did make an awful lot of scrap. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So that's, you know, some wasted wood, but that'll be all right. Can you wait until I'm done? So some wasted wood, but you know, that comes with territory. Speed counts for something. So there we go. We're at 200 hours. I have now put 100 hours on the Wolfe Ridge. You know, it's done everything I've asked it to do. I do have dreams of going to a vertical, probably the Wolfe Ridge vertical someday. I kind of hate bringing the rounds back, especially when they're big rounds and they're coming from the far side. That's hard on a guy's back. This is a giant step up from what I was using, but it's still not ideal. If you're splitting, you know, well, I think I split like close to 40 cords this year. That's the north end of where I'd want this splitter, man. I just think, you know, pulling those big heavy rounds back from this side is just more work than it's worth. But anyway, I think we're in good shape, and that's probably it for this video. I truly appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.